one shout out their full names during this. Okay, now, here are the directions. We have this piecewise function. Once again, this column here means what you're doing. This column here means where it happens. In general with functions, whenever you're talking about what, you're talking about what the y values are. Whenever you're talking about where, and this is the important part, where refers to the x values. Okay? So first we have to graph it. I'm going to go ahead and try and do this by hand. Wish me luck.
To draw?
Yes. Well, we'll get to that in a sec. Let's go one step at a time. And don't start graphing it until... Yes, sir. I'm terribly sorry. Check the website. And there's a test Thursday. Feel better.
You didn't tell me that.
Now, oh my God. All right, now, for this graph, sometimes it's helpful to look at where first. Okay? Sometimes it's helpful to look at where first. The x points I see are -2 twice and 2 twice, which means the where is all going to be concentrated. These are going to be the most interesting points. I see a -2 twice, and I see a number 2 twice in my where things are happening column. Well, this is where the functions change from a line to a different line to a third line. This is where the changes take place. Sometimes it's helpful to draw little vertical lines here, as if there was a brick wall here. Okay? Pretend there's a brick wall there. And these lines are going to kind of slam into the brick wall. Now, what's the first thing that happens when x is less than or equal to -2? Less than or equal to -2 means this entire region here. Everything over here. If I told you to graph x is less than or equal to -2, you would shade all this. Remember that? That sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay, now this line, y equals -x, is the only thing happening over here. Like I said, with the kid I was tutoring, one of my analogies was these are 3 different animals and they're going in 3 different pens. He seemed to like that one. Maybe he has farming or ranching in his background. I don't know.
I think he plays Farmville too much.
He plays Farmville too much. That's probably it. I do not see the appeal of that. I won't lie. Okay, y equals -x. If this were just the line, y equals -x, what would that look like? Okay. We have one function. Guys, this tells me to graph this function when x is less than -2. This tells me to graph this function in the middle, Amanda, when x is between -2 and 2. You will get to that. This tells me to graph this line when x is greater than -2. So that divides the whole plane into 3 different regions.
You graph 12 because you plug in the form.
Pardon?
You graph 12 because you plug in the form.
Not yet. I'm not even looking at this yet. Don't even look ahead.
What 12? Are you...
Hold on. Amanda's skipping ahead to the next thing, but hang on, Jordan. Hang on.
Oh,
Okay. So my first, the only question that I want answered right now is what does y equals -x look like?
What do you mean?
First thing I have to graph, f of x is like y. My first function is -x. So this is y equals -x. What does that look like?
I don't get your question.
No, you do not plug in the numbers yet. That's the, no, it's actually more important that you wait.
But if you have 2 different numbers, then you have to have 2 different graphs?
Hold on. Hold that thought, Jordan. We're getting there.
I don't just. You mean what does it look like on the graph?
Yeah, what should I be drawing here? Sarah's holding up a picture of a calculator, but I want someone to tell me in words.
Should we?
Go to the origin.
Should go through the origin, and what should its slope be, Sarah?
I don't know. It should look like
Negative
you're going to draw an asterisk with it.
Okay, but if I don't have let you have a calculator with you, got to be able to describe this. The first line, y equals -x, is the same as y equals -1x plus 0. Okay? If you put it into mx plus b, y equals -x has a slope of -1, hits the origin at 0. Here's the hard part. I'm not allowed, if it'll help you. You may not need to. The drawing is the answer. You got to get the drawing right. If you need to do this, see, Jordan, this is going to drive you nuts. I'm not going to give you every single step you must do every time that will guarantee you a right answer. You're going to have to think about this.
Wait, so is there a line going all the way across the negative part of x? So you can...
Okay, shh, guys. hold on. First thing you have to do is be able to graph this line. Okay? This is a line, negative 1x plus 0. Okay?
How'd you get 0?
You always assume, if you're looking, think of it as being like y equals mx plus b. If you don't see a plus b, that plus b is 0.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Hopefully we'll- So this line, basically, I should be drawing a line that looks like this, as Sarah held up on her graph. I should be drawing a line that looks like this. But you have to think about what these instructions mean. You guys knew what this meant when we did the test on inequalities.
There's more than one line.
Hold on. Now, this says y equals negative x if x is less than or equal to negative 2. That means this is only true until I hit this point, and then this line stops existing. Nonetheless, you've got to be able to draw it correctly. Okay, so you've got to draw it as if it were going to go through the origin, but then you have to stop when you get here. Not only that, when you stop, you have to indicate a point, like we went over yesterday.
Be close. Is it solid?
And it will be solid, why?
Because it's equal to
Less
or
to
greater
equal
less
to?
than.
This equal to bit, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm graphing the line y equals negative x, just like I've done before, except I'm following this direction to stop it when I get to x equals
Wait.
negative 2.
Is it solid all the way, or do you have to stop it?
You've got to stop it.
I was supposed to draw that line.
Yeah.
But you didn't do anything.
I drew the line y equals x, and I only drew it above the points on the x-axis where x was less than negative 2. This is what I did. I graphed this line.
No, but
This is where I did it.
then why not on the other side?
Well, I'm getting to that, okay? Don't try to skip ahead. What does the line y equals 5 look like? What's the line y equals 5 look like? Arthur?
It's on the y-intercept, 5,
Hits the y-axis at 5.
and it's from -2 to 2.
Okay, what does it look like in between? There's a word you've left out. I believe you know it, but there's a word you haven't used. Horizontal. Okay, so this is a horizontal line. It goes from here to here.